Okay, y'all, so here's some uh, just intro examples for you to have on yours. Um, there's an activity that I was hopeful that you guys could do with the Kahoot, but to go along with that, these are some of the same things that you'll run into in there, whether you did that before this or after this, it doesn't really matter, but let's go through domain and range. So domain, that's going to be the x values. So if we're looking at this example up here, it's wherever it exists along this x-axis. So since this has arrows on both sides, that means it's going to go all the way to the left here. So it exists at 0, it exists at -4, exists at -6, -10, so on and so forth forever. So this is going to be well, this is going to be all real numbers for a domain, which is this symbol here. This symbol. It's an R with an extra dot there. Extra line, I mean. This way, up and down, same thing. It's going to be all real numbers. So that one's just kind of easy. That means it goes from negative infinity to positive infinity on the domain and negative infinity to positive infinity on the range. These two you're not going to have to deal with as much. Let me run through this one. The domain, it goes all the way to the left and all the way to the right. So again, the domain, this is all real numbers. And you can just use this symbol here. The range starts at this point here. Just for convenience sake, let's call that -3. So range is y, and then y has some sort of relationship with -3. Let's start off that way. Has some sort of relationship with -3. So if you start at -3, you're either greater than or less than. Since this goes up, it's greater than. Y is greater than or equal to -3. -3 and up. And then for the domains, both ways. With these functions, the domain, again, it's all real numbers. It's not always like this, y'all. Just bear with me. And then the range, it starts at 0 and goes, let's write it out this way. So the range, it's y is the range, has some sort of relationship with 0. So here's 0, and it's above that. So y is greater than or equal to 0. The intention with these videos, so I should have explained this at the beginning, but this is the supplement, this stuff. I'm expecting you to know this already, but if you need a refresher or just need some examples, that's what these videos are for. You can pause them whenever, you can watch these on your own. They're available on my YouTube channel, but this is just so you can do this at your own pace. If you guys are using this as a class, as your intro, you can pause, you can replay, but just take about a little bit of time for this first part, and then I want you to be able to work on your own and then go on to the other part of the video that has the second part of the worksheet. Alright, this is page 1. Okay, so let's get back to the action here. For the domain, the farthest point to the left is -3 on this one. So your domain starts off at, I'm going to write this on top, starts off at -3. Domain is x. Since that's an open dot, this is not including. And then the farthest point to the right domain is here. It goes from -3 all the way to 4. So that's 4. This is the domain. Okay? Range I'm going to put below. So the lowest point, the very lowest point here is this dot, which is at 0. So the range goes from 0, and that's a solid dot, so I'm including it. Range is y, and it goes to 4. Okay, excuse the sloppiness here. So since this is the top of that hill, it is including it, so that's going to be underlined here. Alright, that's the domain and range of this one. Last one of these I'll do, you have this one. This is similar to that, so you can figure that out on your own. right here you have the domain. So the domain, it exists at -5 here and pretty much nowhere else. So the domain is going to be x equals -5. That's it. That's the domain. The range I'll write below here. The range starts at starts at 3, goes all the way down. So the range is y has some sort of relationship with 3. Is it greater than or less than 3? It's going down, so it's less than. Okay, there's that one. So that's your examples for domain and range. If you need to replay at this point, you can skip back to any of those examples. Otherwise, go ahead and pause here. I want you guys to have some time to work on your own, and then we'll go on to the next one. So if you're watching this as the intro, pause here, pick it up after 20-30 minutes or so have been up. Once you guys have enough time to practice this, practice the next one, and take the quiz. Okay, here's the next one we'll go over. So this is finding slope based on these different methods. So up here, this is really nice. You have a graph, a table, points, and an equation, and you need to be able to find the slope from all of these. So with the graph, it's rise over run for the slope. Rise over run. So what we'll do here, the rise is going downward, so that's 1, 2, 3. So that's -3, down 3. And to go over, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive 4. Your slope here is -3 over 4. That's the slope. Okay, on number 2, you have a table here. So let's just look at the differences between all of these. So from -3 to 1, that's a difference of +2. If you look at that number line next to the clock on your right, you can just count the differences here. From -1 to 0, that's going to be +1. From 0 to 2, that's going to be +2. Let's look at this side over here. From 5 to 1, that's -4. From 1 to -1, that's 1, 0, -1. That's -2. And then from -1 to 5, that's -4 again. Here's where it tries to trick you. So all it is the change in y over the change in x. So you can use any of these. The easiest one to use is -2 over 1. But if you picked another one that's like, so -4 over 2, that simplifies to -2 over 1, which is the slope either way. So -2 is the slope here. Excuse me. Okay, number 3. This uses that formula that's on your right on the board. So you have x1, y1, x2, y2. Then you can just run through this equation. 3 minus 1 over 7 minus 4. So that's going to be 2 over 3. That's the slope. With this one, it's easiest to get this in the slope-intercept form. There's other ways to do this, but use whatever way works best for you. This is the one that we did last year in algebra. So I'm going to get y by itself equals -2x plus 12. Divide both sides by -3. You have y equals +2 over 3 minus 12 divided by 3 is 4. Yeah, so over here, negative, negative, make a positive. Over here, oops, with the x. So your slope here is 2/3. M equals 2/3. I skipped a few steps here, but this is how you do that, because I'm running out of time on this video. Okay, so identifying slope and intercept. The slope, flat fee, is $4. The slope, 35 cents per pound. You do this one. Baby's born 8 pounds. Okay, so it starts off, initial value is 8 pounds, adds 11 pounds a year. That's how you do those. Okay, if it was negative 40, so this slope is about negative, in 2 minutes, it goes 100 meters. So this is negative negative 50? Yeah, because in 2 minutes it goes 100. So negative 40 would mean in 2 minutes it would be 80. So that would be here. Where's my pen? So it would just go like a little bit slower, something like that. Just as the sketch. So it would make the slope less steep. If the slope were changed to negative 40, the gondola would go slower. It's slower. Okay. Slope of the line as these points has slope of, okay, so this is your slope formula, where you have your x1, xy1, x2, y2, and then your m. So it's r minus 5 over 4 plus 6, because negative, negative. And then this is going to be 3 over 5. All you really need is the top here. So what minus 5 is 3? That's going to be 8, is the value of r. 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay, have a couple more minutes. I'll just do these last two, and that should be it. Okay, so real quick, the difference here is 37.5, negative 37.5. The difference here is 0.75, so if you divide those, that's going to be negative 37.5 over 0.75 is negative 50. So that's negative 50, so 50 miles per hour, that's going to be 8 hours. 8 hours is the answer here. Okay, almost out of time. These videos only let me do 15 minutes, which is nice. So anyway, the y's are going to be 10k minus 6k, and the x's are going to be 7k minus 5k. Alright, because those are your y's and those are your x's. So your answer here is 10k minus 6k is 4k, 7k minus 5k is 2k, so that's going to reduce to, the k's cancel out, you'll have 2 is the answer, because that reduces, these reduce, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. Alright, that's it. If you need to replay or pause, you can. I want you to have time to practice this section and then take the quiz. Good luck.